Hello, TedXWilmington. My name is Lance McKell. I have been a personal development life strategist for almost 10 years now. I actually worked with one of the top dating sciences companies since 2012. What I do now is I actually teach people how to literally rewire, recondition their brain for emotional resiliency so that no matter what comes their way, they can effing handle it very, very quickly. One of the most key components to my program is I show people how to use the power of neuroplasticity by creating a period in their day where they actually create that sustained period of attention, allowing themselves to reprogram their brain, or in other words, the definition of meditation, taking the time to reprogram your mind so when you step back in your body, you have been reprogrammed for the day. So what I want to talk about, if you guys allow me to, at TedXWilmington is the power of starting your day on airplane mode, really giving yourself that ability to really, create and wire in your intentions for the day rather than get all effing distracted by everything around you. And what I'm going to have at the end of this video here is I'm going to show you how, I'll show you like a couple little snippets of people that have worked with me, and after 6 weeks, they have stopped going to counselors, therapists, even if they've been going for years or even decades. Within 6 weeks, just by using certain simple practices like the one I'm just aforementioned, they were able to essentially quit all the nonsense because they've rewired, reconditioned their brain for emotional resiliency. So the name of the program, the name of the talk I'd like to give for 12 minutes would be the power of starting your day on airplane mode. And again, here's some videos, just little bits from people that have worked with me to attest to how powerful this is. Talk to you soon. Thanks again. Thank you for your time and consideration. Bye.
I don't know how I've lived my life the last 30 years or 40 years or whatever not. I mean, this is just completely, I look back at my old life and I wish I would have found this program, found you a lot sooner, because I don't know how I did it.
Awesome. Because a lot of people listening to this, they hear phrases like, oh, you just need to love yourself, or you just need to get over it, or you just need to stop thinking about it, but they don't know how to do it. It's like when they go to counselors and therapists, they'll say, oh, you just need to get over it. Yeah, you just need to think about something else, but how the fuck do I do it? And that's the problem. It's like, but now you have the actual process where no matter what happens each day, you know actually how to do it.
I just didn't want to go through those cycles again. I noticed my behavior, the same behavior happening, and I wanted to be different. I wanted to be different for me. And, I've tried other things and they didn't work, whether it was that I wasn't committed enough or I wasn't ready. I wasn't to that tipping point, if you will, or it just was, the right place, right time where I came across you and had the conversation and everything. I just knew that I wanted to do something to change the way I was handling, I guess, whether it's my behavior or myself.
I'm so glad I asked that. Now that's super helpful. I'll tell you why. Because, the last guy I was just speaking to, just a few minutes ago before you and I came on the call, he was such a classic example. It's like, yeah, I've been going to therapy and my therapist just says I'm that kind of person and there's nothing I can do about it. What he said for himself, he said he's the kind of guy that's always trying to save people. He's a savior. He has labeled himself as a savior. And even his therapist is saying, that's just who you are. It's your personality. Yeah. You can't do anything about it. So I'm so glad you brought this up, because that's basically what you were kind of working through, this personality, trying to recreate it. So I said to the guy, I said, dude, you and your therapist really need to be welcome to the year 2019. The training that I do for people, I didn't create it out of thin air. Like, I've worked in person with people for years. Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, top relationship coaches, all in person. And so I basically compiled the best of the best into one practice that can get you that final outcome.
Middle of the fourth week, when stuff would pop up and the daily practice and the boost, and when you realize what you're doing to rewire your neurological system, and you feel it, and and instantly when you can have a bad thought, a bad day, bad something, and it's gone within, for me, it was never really minutes. It was seconds. I could pull out of something and change the thought and really understand that I'm in control of the thoughts that make me happy. Every single second, I have the complete power over that.
For many years, you had many areas of your life where you are not able to forgive yourself, right? And this was something, you and I talked about this for years. This was an issue for you, just, being able to let go, forgive yourself, forgive the people that it involved. And then what was awesome was, it was pretty quickly, actually, maybe by week 3, I'm speaking on the phone, and it wasn't even our normal Q&A time. You and I kept a lot of contact during the week, even beyond Q&A. But also, I think one of these, you and I just jumped on a call. You sent me one of your celebrations, like, cool, let's see what Roger's doing. And I got on a call with you, and you're like, yeah, man, I'm making some videos on forgiveness. And I'm like, wow, look at you, man. You're now the forgiveness guru. but what's really interesting about that, and I think everyone can relate to, people want to communicate things like that when they feel like they have something to share. So that is such awesome evidence of how much you shifted. Just 3 weeks prior, you had been dealing with that for many years, trying to release that hurdle, that block to get you to the next level, because you were not able to forgive yourself and the people around you that were involved in those things. But here you are, all of a sudden 3 weeks later, not only were you taking yourself to new levels, but you even felt so compelled to make videos that you thought other people could learn from. Isn't that fucking awesome? The whole program is really about you. I could call it how to get your ex back by getting you back. That'd be maybe more accurate. But it's like, people are so oftentimes so just focused like this. I have to get them to realize ultimately that's not really what you want. You want to just feel great. You want people in your life to be a bonus, an option, not where you're reliant on them until they come back or don't come, whatever. So that's the truth. And when you and I spoke, I'm sure I explained it to you really well. The whole program is really about you. It's not about some other external individual.
No, and the thing for me too is like, regardless of what happens in the future, and I'm one of those, like, anything is possible. I mean, I think at this point it would really take a miracle for my ex-husband and I to reunite. And I'm not going to say that that's out of the question. You know what I'm saying? All I know is that, if we were ever to get back together, it can't be with the version of me that I was. Otherwise, that recreates what has currently happened. So it's this concept of like,
I'm saying, like, anyone listening to this call, are you listening to this? This is
exactly where
you're
at.
How can you create
yourself?
If you want, things don't change unless you change. So you changed yourself first. You realize you have to change you first.
And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to change myself so he comes back. It was more like, I'm going to change myself because I deserve that.
If you could do it, anybody could do it. You had every reason to just say, it's over. You were like at that place and you said, no, I'm not doing that. And, and you came through. You didn't let any obstacles get in your way, financial, time, family. You're just like, I got to do this. And you did it. And when I speak to people now, I take that energy with me, Edson. I remember you all the time. Like, Edson did it. I don't care what the hell you're saying. If Edson did it, you can do it too. And it's very inspiring, man. So I'm very thankful that you and I had a chance to connect and work together. And what a great story. And what's awesome is, you're just going to keep reaching new levels. You'll keep growing your own practice. We talked about. You'll keep redefining what it is to feel like an 8, 9, or 10 on each day, and it'll just become new levels for you, and it'll just keep growing and growing. It'll never stop. And personal development will be something that you do because you want to do it, not because you need to do it. Very big difference. Most people do stuff because they've reached so much pain. You're going to be doing stuff because you want more levels of pleasure. That's the difference. When I talk to people, I'm like, most people just don't understand what's possible. And what you now understand, which most people do not understand, is instead of doing things because you have to do it, you're going to do it because you want to reach new levels of bonus territory. You're like, wow, I want to see if I can, maybe there's even higher levels of love, gratitude, joy, maybe there's even more that you can achieve rather than I'm doing this because things suck. That's a very big difference there. So,
very big difference. Yeah.
Yeah. You remember when you first started me, how you felt like the world was just collapsing in on you, right? It was just over. You remember that, right?
Yes.
And I told you, I said, Edson, stay the course. Even though this seems like the worst thing could ever happen to you, eventually, when you and I are done, you will feel nothing but gratitude and appreciate that everything you went through was ultimately for your best interest and ultimately was there to serve you because you basically were faced to confront something that should have been confronted years ago. Remember when I told you that?
And I mean, to be honest, I was like, man, Lance is crazy. You know? I mean,
That's great.
How can he say this, you know? If I was feeling so bad, so sad, so angry. I don't know. I had all those feelings. And like I say now, man, I'm like, man, what was I thinking? What was I thinking back then, you know? And
So you don't think I'm crazy anymore?
No, no, not at all.
Okay. But you know, I think it would be a really great thing to start with here, especially now where you're able to celebrate how far you've come, how great you're fucking doing, knowing you got this skill for life. Think about our second conversation, right? Where you're like, Lance, can you really do this? You know, like it's a lot of money, and without going to the dollar figure of what it is, like you were scared, man. So looking back, how does that reflecting back on that moment where you could have gone either way, you could have gone scared, you could have been like, well, it's too much money, blah blah blah. What would you have missed out on? You know, what do you think about like going back to that moment?
I mean, it really is. It's funny now because it was totally a moment of like just like fear, which I think this whole process is just all about getting away from those types of negative emotions and thought patterns. But I just remember thinking like, this is a big risk. Like, I just don't know like what's going to happen. Just the unknown really was like kind of like scary for me. And it was like right around Christmas and everything was pretty fresh. And, it was basically like you just talking, you like really like being open with you and honest about where I was at and what I was feeling about it. And just saying, you know, screw it. What do I have to lose? Because what I've been trying isn't working. And you were totally open and honest about what you were going to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And so it was kind of just like a little bit of a leap of faith for sure. But the way it's transformed everything since is like the fear isn't really there anymore in a lot of different areas of my life. So it's huge.
So you and I spoke one time before that a few months ago when you talked about you're trying this mindfulness and stuff like that. And I said, good luck with that. You know, you call me when you realize that's not going to work. What made you what from our first conversation resonated for you? We were like, okay, I'm gonna call this fucking random guy I ran into on Facebook here. Cause I mean, I told you my credentials are just cause you ran into Facebook doesn't mean I don't have some real, you know, history as far as we're top people, but you didn't know that. And so what made you contact me back after our first conversation, like 2 months later? I'm curious looking back.
Well, a big part of it was, I mean, I had already like, this was like a cycle that I had tried solving the issue the same way multiple times. Mm-hmm. And when I spoke with you, you could tell like, yeah, you're just not ready yet. You're not ready to really, you know, take it to the next step to try something new. And you were okay with it. You were like, it's fine. You know, I understand that you're not there yet. And so I did. I tried to do it my way again after you had explained the concept of like mentorship and having somebody really, you know, there to help you through a process, through a training. And most people, I don't know, for me, I always try to figure things out on my own. And this was like that in and of itself was a learning experience. But I just realized, okay, I'm hitting my head against the wall, trying to do this the same way. Mm-hmm. The same result is, you know, coming to fruition. So I gave you a call because it's like, it sunk in. Yeah. Give me a call, you know, when things change. And you knew, you were like, you know, this guy, I mean, you were probably thinking like, this guy is, he's going to try to do it his way. And I know my way works. And you were right.
What from our conversations, like, I have a feeling this guy's going to be able to do it for me.
Well, I mean, first it was just like, I felt like I had nothing to lose.
I mean, I can appreciate that.
I was just like, I mean, my story is my story, but I mean, just, you know, people get to a place where they're like, man, they just can't figure it out, and they've tried, and And the second factor was just, I mean, you were totally transparent. You were like, you could empathize with my hesitation and everything. And I could tell that you were like, I get it. And I mean, I could tell on the phone call that you were committed to helping me get through it. Like we had said, I had read books. I thought I like understood myself. I thought I understood, how to have relationship with somebody and how to work through challenges. And it was like, I was doing the best I could do and it wasn't working. And I was still feeling, overall just not great. So when I came across the Facebook, sponsored advertisement, I guess,
That's right.
I figured, all right, well, this is definitely worth, I was like, this is worth at least investigating and seeing what it's all about. And then, after we talked for the second time, I was like, what do I have to lose? Because I've already been beating my head against the wall, trying to do this my way. And I repeated a cycle for like the fourth time.
I'm showing you how to recondition your mind, your thoughts, your feelings. And you've never done that before. And I was like, Evan, I go, your body is readjusting, recalibrating to a brand new way of doing things. You got to give it a little time. Like, you know, and I told you, I go, the first 2 weeks is the hardest.
Yeah.
Like first 2 weeks, you're like a rocket ship. The most energy, the most fuel is burned in the very beginning. And I was like, dude, just stay with me here. Stay with me. And I guess my question is, and I think it's important because a lot of people, again, they're coming across this in Facebook and they don't know how much I show up for people. Were you kind of surprised how quickly I jumped on calls with you or did whatever it took to, because that when you sign up, you speak to me once a week. That's what our agreement is. Right. But your experience of me, how would you describe the way I show up for you as far as to support you and make sure you get to where you need to go?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure like the first week you were texting me like before, like you were reaching out to me every day to make sure that I was like, just to check in. But yeah, I think it was day 2. It was kind of like growing pains, right? Like I was like, is this really working? Like, I don't know. And yeah, you immediately hopped on the phone with me. I think we talked for like over an hour. And then there were other times, I think the next week where I texted you and we hopped on the phone right away. I could kind of tell right from, right before I signed on to do this process with you, that phone call where I was freaking out, I hadn't actually committed to it yet, that you were going to show up. And yeah, man, you did. I mean, anytime I had any hesitation or like there was like doubt in a text message, you jumped on the phone with me. Or you asked me when we could talk, and then it kind of like brought me back down. Like, okay, this is a process, and I just have to be committed to it. And you were totally like available there when I needed you. So it was awesome.
Hi, how are you? My name is Alejandra, and I am here to absolutely recommend the program Modernizing You by Lance. Before I met him, I was spent a lot of money in therapy forever, actually over 7 years, and I was feeling stuck. I would even take some pills they prescribed me that made me zone out in my own life. But I found him and my life has become amazing. He's very professional, he's caring, and this system really, really works. So if you're looking for answers, don't waste your time anymore. Work with him. He's amazing. He really knows what he's doing, and he can really help you transform to that thing that is really bothering you, whatever it is. We're all different, but I really want to recommend him. This program is absolutely marvelous. It really, really helped me, and if it helped me, it can help you. So thank you, Lance, and thank you very much. I'm very grateful for all the knowledge that you share and all the techniques. They really, really help my life to feel amazing. Thank you. Bye.